watching Capital Connection from the Illinois State Capitol.
Welcome back. Joining us now to continue our discussion about the Department of Child and Family Services and the change in leadership that will be coming is House Republican Tom Weber. Thank you so much for joining us, Representative.
Oh, thank you very much for having me. This is a discussion that needs to happen.
So I want to start here just with your immediate reaction. Marc Smith, he's been on the job now 4 years, and now at the end of this year, he announces he's going to be resigning. What did you think about the way that, the announcement itself, the way it was brought out, and what do you think this means for the department going forward?
So I think it's long overdue, but at the same time, I think we need to work together to find a replacement. I know this will be the governor's appointment. But we have a system in the state of Illinois that is failing, has failed, thousands of children. I would try looking outside of state systems, children's services that work, and bring someone from the outside with fresh views and someone that is willing to do the hard things, because maybe there needs to be new management in other places as well.
I wonder what. There's been a lot of conversations now. I heard from House Republican leader Tony McCombie about this particular issue, and just the idea that there's no better time to try to restructure than now. That was her sentiment, and beyond just the leadership. And I wonder where you stand on that, because this goes back much further than Marc Smith's tenure. This goes back much further than Governor Pritzker's administration. It goes back further than the Rauner administration, the struggles that have plagued DCFS now for years. And is it time, do you believe that it's time to strip down DCFS and build back up in a totally different way? Or can these fixes be made internally as it is?
Personally, no. I think that we have lots of bills to address problems. Unfortunately, most of them have been ignored. But those are just Band-Aids on a bigger problem. I think I agree that fundamentally, I think the department needs to be restructured from the ground up. There are systemic and historic problems that continue to affect the way they operate. It's been happening for decades. I talked to Representative Bob Churchill. I don't know if you remember Bob, but, and he said they were running into these same issues when he was a representative in the House. And, it's one of those things. I think we just need to start looking at other places where it works. How can we restructure? It's going to be hard enough to bring a leader, a new director in, when you have a ship that's been sinking this long. And, we need the most important, this is the most important job, in my opinion, in the state of Illinois, because our number one job is protecting children. And so, I think that Democrat, Republican, we need to work together, see if we can come up with ideas on how to rework this system from the ground up.
Being that you're in the House of Representatives, you're not going to, be one of the Senate members voting on the confirmation of the next head of the department. But as this whole process plays out, if this turns into just another agency head appointment process where it's the one person, they're giving their plan, and it turns into almost a job interview in that sense, and we're not talking about much larger systemic overhauls of how DCFS works, how would you feel about that process if the finding of the next agency head is just that, and there's not much larger conversations happening around it?
I think politics plays a lot into what we do, unfortunately, in the state of Illinois. So to me, it would be disappointing, to see, something that looks like a political appointment over this is the best person for the job. So we don't know who that person is. And that's kind of why I said it, we've had such a broken system in the state of Illinois. Finding someone that's already within that system, I'm not sure is the answer. And that's why I would be looking probably outside of the state of Illinois, possibly to some people who have been in systems that are working better than we are. So I guess we'll have to wait and see how that process. But I'd like to see Democrats and Republicans working together, possibly vetting candidates. and it's going to be difficult. Again, if we're not going to be serious about a restructuring and fixing the systemic problems that have been identified time and time again, no one's going to want that job.
Can a new director on their own make the necessary changes, do you feel, or does this need to be a much bigger seismic change?
I think it needs to be a mission of the state of Illinois to restructure DCFS for the sole purpose of protecting the children of the state of Illinois. That is how I feel. And if there's anything short of that, I think we're doing a disservice to taxpayers in the state of Illinois.
Got it. Well, Representative Weber, thank you so much for taking the time.